It's the Mark and HooGie Show, featuring this week's guest, Eric Bass of Shinedown.
Hey, what's up? It is the Mark and HooGie Show. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Halloween tomorrow, HooGie, and clearly you're all dressed, or is that just your everyday jacket? I don't know.
I've been wearing this thing for like a week now. I'm excited. What can I say? You know,
for people
it's Halloween.
For people who've never seen Ghostbusters, I don't know if there's, one or two people out there, but that is a official Ghostbusters jacket. Peter Venkman, who was played by Bill Murray, the great. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. Dude, like, where did you even get that thing? You have things like you just pull things out of your chest, like you got like this big wardrobe chest thing, and I feel like it's like Mr. Dress Up in his tickle trunk.
What's he going to show up with next? Yeah.
Seriously.
I got a hockey stick. I'm ready to hand out candy with the hockey stick.
Nice.
I was actually, I got the little Reese's cups. So what I'm thinking is use them as pucks, and I'll put them down and I'll slap shot them at the kids.
Perfect. Let's just hope nobody has a peanut allergy, because that ain't gonna go over well. I know Halloween. We're talking Halloween, but Christmas is gonna be just around the corner as well. And you know what makes a great Christmas gift? Mark and HooGie merchandise. We got the masks, we got the shirts, we got blankets and towels and flip flops and so much more. So head on over to the markandhoogieshow.com, hit up the merch page, get some merch. That way it's here in time for Christmas. Look at, and shopping safely, right? That's a way to shop too. You need
That's how you go.
Shop. Yeah.
Just like this.
So support the show by buying your very own Mark and HooGie merchandise again over at the markandhoogieshow.com. All right, enough of that. We have a special guest on the show this week.
We're not clowning around. Being Halloween and all.
Clowning around. We are not. It is a personal friend of yours. You work very closely with this individual, and he goes by the name of Eric Bass from Shinedown. So
very excited.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I have never met Eric before. I've never chatted with him before. I think I've pretty much talked to everybody else in the band except Eric. So I'm looking forward to this today. So, and it was his birthday last week as well.
It was. So maybe we'll see what he got into last week.
Awesome. All right. It's coming up. Eric Bass of Shinedown, this week's guest on the Mark and HooGie Show.
So ring the bell, 'cause I know it all too well. Switchblade on the other.
Hey, what's up? It is the Mark and HooGie Show. Here we are, our special guest this week, the one, the only Mr. Eric Bass of Shinedown. It is a pleasure to have you on the show finally. So
man, it is so nice to be here.
This is amazing.
It is. So you and HooGie pretty tight, obviously.
Oh yeah.
HooGie's like your right hand.
And left hand.
And left hand.
and right and left brain usually too. Yeah. Look, man, I didn't get where I am by being smart or thinking about things that could and couldn't happen. So he has to do all that stuff for me. So for those of you at home, HooGie is the goose to my Maverick. I'm not going to kill you though. I'm not going to do something stupid that you get killed. But HooGie is my guitar tech and keyboard tech and bass tech.
we got a lot of things.
I know.
Yeah.
It's getting to be busy. I think you guys got the new album. I guess you guys have already gotten 9 songs in at this point.
9 songs written.
So then you guys are going to start recording them pretty soon. What's how's that whole process working?
Yeah. So we will probably end up writing 20 or 21, 22 songs. So we're kind of in the middle of the writing process right now. So and that's normal for us. We're not like a write 12 songs, record 12 songs kind of band. We like to just make sure that we've got what we need to put out a really, really great record. And so we beat ourselves about the head with and push ourselves pretty hard with that. But yeah, we got 9 written. We'll probably write through January and then begin the recording process. And we recorded the last record, Attention at my studio here in Charleston, South Carolina. And I've since closed that place and I'm building the new studio out here on the property. I was actually working at it. We wrote all 9 songs we wrote out in that building, but I had to move everything in here into the house for us to continue to write, so we could tear everything down in there and actually build a proper studio. So, that's kind of where we are is in that part of the process. When it's fun designing a studio and building something that's yours. You're kind of building your own clubhouse for you and your friends to hang out in. I mean, honestly, that's all it is. Like it's a sanctuary for me as well. It's like I watched the Henry Rollins has done 2 Joe Rogan podcasts, and I watched both of those recently, and he was talking about just discovering the things he actually needs in life. You don't need all this stuff, and he still drives the same Mazda 6 that he's been driving for 8 years, because he's like, it gets me from point A to point B. I don't need a nice car. Well, I'm kind of the same way. Like, my wife has 2 cars. We have 2 cars. They're both hers. One pulls a horse. one is a truck that pulls the horse trailer, and the other is an SUV that I got her for her birthday a couple of years ago. I don't have a car. Technically, I drive them, but I don't have a car. Like, I'm fine with that. I don't really go anywhere anyway. But I need to be able to play my music, and I need my wife, and I need a studio. I realized that I need a creative space where I can go and create music, because in the times in my life when I've been super depressed, I do a lot of self-analysis, and I'm ruthlessly introspective too. I try to figure things out, and I realized that in those times I was not being creative. It happens to me a lot on tour. Like, HooGie sees me I get depressed a lot on tour. HooGie can attest to this. And a part of that is the fact that I'm not creating like I'd like to be. I don't have a space. I don't have my clubhouse. I can't go and make stupid songs. I'm granted, it's a blessing to be able to tour and play, but so chalk the studio up to like one of like the 3 things I really need in my life. I mean, and so it's been really cool to kind of simplify everything. Granted, my wife and I bought a piece of property where she's going to have horses, and so it's really overly complicated. But for me, like, I am simplifying my life. Like, I wear black jeans, white t-shirt on a daily basis. Doesn't matter where I am, just keep it simple. And there's a lot of happiness in that. So yes, the studio is part of that. I know I run off on a tangent. That will be a theme in this podcast.
Are you superstitious at all, though? Like, the fact that you're now, you had so much success with that last album, recorded in the other studio. Now you're kind of moving everything. Is there a little bit of superstition? Like, maybe, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the mojo, right?
Superstitious. Yeah. And it's like, don't change anything.
Yeah, I mean, partially, it's going to be the same gear. I'm still going to record it through the same gear I recorded the last record on, and diamond eyes and cut the cord and everything else that we did in that other place. But look, it was melancholy to close it down. I mean, I built that studio prior to being in the band, so my wife and I were taking a risk for me to start a business, or us to start a business, and I was just going to produce records for bands. I wasn't going to run a commercial studio, so it was sort of a leap of faith, and we took out a second mortgage on our house to do it, and so you when it came time to close that place down, it was pretty. I had my moment in there where I just kind of was in there by myself, and I looked around and was like, okay, well, this was a good ride. There's a lot of mojo in these walls, and hopefully whoever moves in here will appreciate that. And I closed the door, and I'm like that though. I don't look back. I'm not a I am once I make a decision and I go in a direction, I try not to dwell on anything. So, I'm not superstitious about it. I'll tell you what it is. It's more the writing, and it's not superstition. It's every artist has this, especially if you're coming off of something successful, which is, can I do this again? Can we repeat this? And I think we are well on our way to, I'm really excited about these songs, and Brent's really excited about these songs. Zach and Barry are as well. And on top of that, our label and management are super excited. In fact, we've gotten some really great compliments. One from our A&R, Steve Robertson at Atlantic, said, he goes, "This is the best set of out of the gate songs Shinedown's ever had." Wow, so nice. meaning usually we're like, we'll do a great song, and then we'll have the next 2 will be okay, and then you'll have another great one, and then and he's saying, for him, this is the most excited he's been about a set of initial songs yet. So that's great to hear. I'll take that as a great compliment, but I'm not going to rest on it. You got to keep moving, man. The next one's got to be better than the last one. So,
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, like, between the last one and a lot of people might not realize, but I being there and helping you out, whatnot, this whole solo record that you just came out with that you sent me front to back is amazing. And can you tell us a bit about what's going on with the solo record?
Yeah, so I decided. So this all started with a. How like people, you can call it people. Some people call it God. Some people call it the universe. It depends on how spiritual you are. Some people just call it chance or your inner voice. I don't know. But I was sitting in a hotel room in Milan, Italy, on the first European tour for Attention. We had a day off there, and I'd just gotten done working out. I'd listened to Biohazard's State of the World Address record, which I hadn't listened to in a long time. And I always loved that record. I listened to that in my workout. I'd finished, and I was watching a YouTube video about something, and something like this voice in my head goes, "You're going to want to write this story down." And for the next 2 hours, and literally it was like, this is going to be a comic book. And I'm not even a comic book person at all. I traditionally am not. I'm a sci-fi guy, but I'm not a comic book person. And so I wrote down this story, and it was sort of the prequel for what would be this comic that I'm working on now, this graphic novel that it's going to end up being a graphic novel. We're going to put it out in issues. But also with that was like, you're going to want to do a record for this too. So I'm a glutton for punishment. So I started working on my solo record, which is basically about the characters and about the story for the first episode of my 4-episode part, graphic novel comic that I'm going to be putting out. And so it's just kind of a soundtrack for that. And you know what? And I almost didn't do it in different phases. Self-doubt is a huge thing with a lot of artists and with me as well. And it's like, hey, are you going to be able to write really great lyrics on your own? Because I've always written with other people.
Right.
You're not a lead singer. You're maybe a B-level lead singer, but you're not a lead singer. Are you going to be able to deliver the goods vocally? And at these different phases, I would kind of stop the process. I'd freeze myself out, because I can write tracks and melodies and stuff all day long by myself and feel great about it. But when it comes to the hardcore stuff, the lyrics and the vocals, it was, I had a lot of self-doubt with that. But I pushed through and made myself do it, because I'd said from the beginning, I said, if my mother is the only person that ever hears this and likes it, I'm okay with that. I need to do it for me. I need to get it done so I'll know that I can do it. And I did, and I'm super proud of it. It's mastered. It's right now, honestly, it's just figuring out how I want to release it. And I'm going back and forth right now between, do I put it out on a label? Because the book obviously will be out on some through a publisher, but
right.
Do I do this through a label? Because I'd love the world to hear it. That's really what it's about. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing it because I think that, I'm in the risk of sounding a little, and I don't mean it this way, a little snooty, but I think I created something really awesome that I would love the world to hear. And so that's really what it's about. I'm back and forth between that. Do I get the machine behind me and try to, do a single at radio and all of this stuff? Whereas, by the way, I didn't go into this at all thinking about writing a single. It was very anti that. It was because we do that with Shinedown a lot. You think about singles, and you think about writing hit songs. And I was like, I'm not thinking about writing a hit song. I'm thinking about, indulging in my musical absurdities. And, maybe there's there are quite a few songs where it's like the song's just rocking out and then a piano just pops out of nowhere and it's like quiet and soft. And then it goes back to, some of it sounds some of it sounds maybe like a show tune. Some of it's metal. Some of it's, it's just kind of, I kind of took the Mike Patton approach, the Faith No More approach of like, hey man, just do you, just make it your thing. And so either doing getting the machine behind it, or do I just put it out into the world and just say, hey, it's free, pass it on to whoever you want, and there's going to be a book with this, and and just kind of, because to be honest, these days with music, you're giving your music away anyway.
Right. Yeah,
and
you're not making money off the music.
Right. And so do I just want to just, rather than going through the the rigmarole of which is all this stuff is positive stuff. I'm saying this is just me thinking through it. The rigmarole of getting a rollout plan together and a release date and because I'll still do press and stuff. I'll still get publicists behind it and talk about it. And
but that all costs money. Like I don't think people realize like you're actually spending money now to release. It's not as if you don't really recoup that money unless you're touring, right?
Yeah,
you have to hire the publicists and the radio trackers and this and that. And it's like at the end of the day, you could spend tens of thousands of dollars
correct
to try to get this music released and played on the radio.
But for me, it's like it's and believe me, it's not lost on me that I'm in a very fortunate position, having been successful, that I could do that. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna go, who cares? It's not that. I mean, it is money and it is an investment, but I've already made this huge investment in it. I've already spent hours and hours because I played every instrument. I wrote every note of it, played every instrument, sang every note of it, barring a couple of group things that I had my sisters come in and help with. Who has performed with my sisters before on Shinedown songs. Yeah. And my nieces and nephews sang a couple of things with me. But other than that, I sang every note, wrote every lyric, produced it, mixed it, engineered it, and so it's been a huge investment for me. And I just like people to hear it, really. Honestly, there's a lot of pride in it for me with that, and that was something I did purposefully. I was like, I could have had a drummer come in who would have played better parts than I played. I could have had,
I gotta say, I love that video you sent me when I'm like, who did all the drums? And you sent me this video. And you basically played it a little different than a normal drummer.
Yeah, so I played drums in drumline and marching band guy. My feet don't work, like double bass stuff, never going to happen. So what I did is I set up the kick drum on a stand in front of me, kick drum, then snare drum, tom, and played everything with my hands. So just played like this, and I would have to, I'd have to punch things in. So I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a drummer, but this is how I performed it. It was very Slipknot, like this. And then I went back and overdub cymbals over that, and I would do like a verse and a chorus, or I'd get to a part where I fell off the tracks. I'd be like, okay, let's punch it in here. Let's pick it up here, and one of the toughest things I ever did. But I wanted to play every note. So my hands were just eaten up, and it was 5 or 6 days to get the whole record done like that. And but I wanted it to have a human feel. I didn't want it to feel like a computer played the drums, and like I said, I could have. At one point, I was like, man, I could get Barry to do some of it. I could get Morgan Rose to do some of it. I had all these guys that were, James from Asking, Alexandria. I had all these people in mind that I was like, I could call them and they could come in and do this. But I wanted, there was just this need for me to want it to be all me and all come from me. So, but I'm super proud of it, man. And it's not sure if I'm going to put it out under my name or if I'm going to put it out under like a band name or something. Right now, the working title that I have the comic is going to be called The New Dark Eaters is the name of it. And there's a song on the record called New Graves. And so I'm thinking about just giving it this long book title, like Eric Bass presents the New Graves LP, Songs for the New Dark Eaters, like something like that, something just kind of different, but we'll see what it ends up being and how it's released. And the thing for me is if I do wait on the label, then there's some infrastructure and things that have to happen, and you have to project out dates. So it probably won't get released until the first of next year. Right. And I'm like, but I could just drop it today and just be like, here it is,
check it out.
Drop it on Friday, drop it tomorrow or whatever, or I might drop it on a Tuesday, like old school.
Yes, please. I hate that music's released on Fridays now. I don't know why. I'm like, no, it's supposed to be Tuesday.
Yeah.
Do you care about like the accolades, like the fact that you guys back in August, you broke the record for the most number ones. Is stuff like that important to you, or do you not really give a shit?
Yes and no. That's it's really a yes and no thing. I love knowing that exists. I love knowing that we have accomplished that. And by the way, not just the band, but everyone surrounding the band accomplishes that. And HooGie's part of that. Atlantic Records is obviously part of that. McGathy and Indigoot our management, Bill McGathy and Liam Pesci and Geither Boltman are people at the management company. They're part of that, and all the way down to the interns. So don't I look at that and it's such a group effort. But I like knowing that those things exist. I love knowing that the platinum records exist. I love knowing that the sold out tours exist.
Right.
But I don't think about them. I try not to think about them. So when we did Attention, HooGie walked into the studio the first day, and I had going down to my old studio, going down to the bathroom. I had all the records on the walls all the way down, and there was, again, very fortunate, quite a few of them, quite a few awards. And I said, take all the records off the wall, put them in storage, and where every one of those records was, paint chalkboard paint up there, and we're going to use those spots as inspiration rather than awards. I like to feel like, so again, I'm giving you my inner thoughts here, and I know we in no way mean to sound like a jerk, and I hope this doesn't come off this way. I've bought a couple of records from bands that I really like lately over the past year, 2 years, and these are bands that I go way back with. I mean, and I'm not going to mention who they are. And I've been super disappointed in the records, like really disappointed in the records. And that seems to happen a lot where like a band will make this phenomenal record and then they'll never do it again. Right. They just can't, it's not repeatable for them. And for me personally, I think, you take a band like their first record or their first two records sound like they're breaking out of jail, because they are. And they literally are breaking out. And then once they break out and they get some comfort and they get some money and they get some, the accolades and the awards, there's no reason to break out of jail anymore. We're just going to make another record and go on tour. Right. Yeah. And that, my brain doesn't work like that. And Brent's brain doesn't work like that, no. Barry's or Zach's. And so I want to feel like I'm breaking out of jail all the time when I'm creating. So perfect example is my old studio was taking the records off the wall, and there were no windows to the outside in that studio. It was like being in a submarine. 3 a.m. felt like 3 p.m. And it was, make yourself miserable. Like, how did you feel when, let's say make miserable is a bad term. Make yourself feel like you're working for it again. Like, right. I went back and listened to some records that I had produced in the very beginning of me producing and mixing. I'm talking like early 2000s, so 2003, 2004, 2005. Some of those things sounded better to me than the things I'm doing now. And that kind of, and I did this a while back, and it caused me to start thinking, like, why is that the case? Why do I feel like these things? Well, they have. Not only am I, as a producer and engineer and mixer, trying to prove myself, but the bands I was recording were trying to prove themselves as well. And it was the culmination of these things. And so what kills that more than anything? Well, comfort kills that, and success can kill that. So when it comes time to get in a studio and make any sort of record, whether I'm writing or producing or whatever, I want to feel like I'm breaking out of jail every single time. So I don't have any of my records displayed. There's not a single Shinedown anything in my house. Zero. Like, there was one picture on the wall, and we just took it down because we're gonna hang a painting up of me on stage, and that was and then a picture beside of my wife and I on stage with the crowd. And I always thought it's a neat picture, but there's nothing. There's no records displayed. All my records are in a storage unit 6 miles away from my house, and they're going to stay there probably. I love that I have them. I love that they're there. I appreciate the fact that we've accomplished what we've accomplished, but I don't want to look at it, because for me, it's like, what am I doing right now with Brent? We're writing our first record, and I'm getting ready to produce and probably mix our first record. And that's how I like to look at it, is there is no comfort. You're only as good as the last thing you did. And one thing I do, though, I do this when we get a number one. It's such I mean, how fortunate is that to just get one, much less the number that we've had. Right. What a blessing it is. And so Steve Robertson called me on this a long time ago when so the first song I ever produced for Shinedown was Diamond Eyes, and it's one of the biggest number one songs we had. It had this long run. Mm-hmm. And we were writing for Amaryllis at the time. And I was so caught up in writing for Amaryllis. And he got mad at me on the phone. He goes, do you ever just stop and appreciate the fact that you've got the number one rock song in the country right now that you wrote, produced, blah, 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 engineered? And I said, no. And he goes, why not? Like, just take a minute and appreciate that. And my point to him was, no, man, that's done. I can't do anything about it. I'm on to the next thing. And he called me out on that. So and we do this as a band together too. Like, we will, if something happens when we're on tour, like if we get a number one or we achieve something, we stop when we're all there and we're like, hey, just take a second and think about this for a second and appreciate it. And literally, like, for a minute, just appreciate the fact that you've accomplished this just for a minute, and then get back to work, and that's important to do. So, like I said, it's a double-edged thing where I do appreciate it, and I do love the fact that we've accomplished what we've accomplished, because, I mean, again, 15-year-old Eric, sitting in his room playing Van Halen songs, Jesus Christ, man, if you had told me that one day I'd have more number one rock songs than Van Halen, I'd be like, you're out of your goddamn mind. And so that kid totally appreciates it, and that kid still lives in me. But I can't think about it when we're creating something else, it's like, and that goes for touring as well. I mean, HooGie can attest to this, man. Every day it's some kind of like figuring out how it can be better, or figuring out what we can, and this speaks to our crew as well, because they have the same mentality. Every day our crew is going, how can I get this guitar change better, or the amp can always sound a little better. I mean, HooGie and I spend time on stage dialing in amp tones with our front of house guy. When Andy came on board, Andy was like, hey, I want to work on the bass, and we went out, it was 2 or 3 hours of pulling racks apart and rewiring and rerouting and doing all of this stuff, because it's going to make the show better and it's going to make the fans' experience better. And so that's just who we are as a band. I think everyone is sort of like that. I don't know if there's anyone in our band that has records hanging on the wall. Zach would be the one I would think would be the one that would have the records on the wall. If anybody does, Zach would have. Zach might have the records hang on the outside of his house. I'm not sure.
Next to the shoes.
I was going to say, is there room with those shoes there? But all right, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll play a little game called Would You Rather. It's Eric Bass joining us this week on the Mark and HooGie Show.
What's up? This is Tommy Vex from Bad Wolves, and you're watching the Mark and HooGie Show.
Spartan Brews Coffee Company, simply the best coffee in the world. Spartan Brews Coffee Company is determined to provide coffee drinkers an uncompromising roast that is extremely pleasing and provides a smooth taste with just the right amount of body that every coffee drinker will appreciate. Visit them online at SpartanBrews.com and use our promo code MAHS20 to save 20% off roasts. That's MAHS20 at SpartanBrews.com.
Why leave the house to go shopping when you can buy from your couch? BuyFromYourCouch.com strives to give their customers unique quality products and service at the absolute best price. Choose from one of their fashionable and washable masks and keep yourself and others safe. Plus, check out their top quality shirts, bar supplies, and more. Just visit BuyFromYourCouch.com.
True Pura CBD, a new CBD brand from the creators of Incredibles. Love yourself and enhance your wellness with trustworthy CBD products by True Pura. Use our promo code MH15 at checkout and save 15% on your order at TruePura.com. That's promo code MH15 at checkout over at TruePura.com.
Bestronix Pro Audio, providing high-end and durable audio cables for the professional musician. All cables are custom made to order and manufactured right in the USA using premium components. Check out our custom pedal board and rack builds. Visit best-tronics.com and don't forget to follow us on our socials.
Homegrown Boone's Bourbon, founded by American singer-songwriter Tyler Boone from the Striped Pig Distillery in Charleston, South Carolina. It's 117% proof, 75% corn, 21% rye, and 4% barley. True American-made bourbon, aged in brand new American white oak charred barrels. Order a bottle online today. DrinkBoonesBourbon.com. Will soon be available in Edmonton, Canada, and in Europe. Would You Rather is brought to you by Spartan Brews Coffee Company. Visit them online at SpartanBrews.com and make sure to use promo code MAHS20 to save 20% off all roasts. That's promo code MAHS20 to save 20% off all roasts at SpartanBrews.com. Sobriety.com.
Hey, welcome back to the Mark and HooGie Show with our very, very special guest, Mr. Eric Bass of Shinedown. Next, we're going to kick off Spartan Brews Presents Would You Rather. If you're looking for a good coffee, save 20%, use code MAHS20. So, Eric,
I can attest to the Spartan Brews, by the way. We drink it on the bus. We drink it on the bus, and it is awesome.
So there you have it.
What would be your favorite brew? Would it be the Get Up blend?
That's my thing. It's like my morning coffee, man. That's it. Yep.
HooGie keeps it close.
So Eric, would you rather? I'm going to give you two options, and from there, you let us know what you're thinking. So, Eric, would you rather be a smuggler or a bounty hunter? When it comes to Star Wars?
Well, we all know the smugglers get the ladies, the bounty hunters get the danger and the excitement. The smugglers are always being chased. The bounty hunters are the hunters, right? I think I would rather be. I'm a bit of a control freak, so I think I would rather be in charge of doing the hunting than being hunted. Okay. Granted, the smuggler gets a better lifestyle. I think he's parked out in the cantina getting hammered and talking, spitting game at princesses and stuff. But I think I dig the armor too, man. If I was going to be a bounty hunter, I would have to be a Mando bounty hunter too. I'd have to, and I would have said that before the Mandalorian came along. I mean, that's just everybody knows that that's what you would have to do.
Pretty excited for tonight. Not gonna lie, might have to miss the Mark and HooGie Show to watch the new Mandalorian.
Yeah. Don't watch this. Don't watch this. Watch Mandalorian.
Thanks.
God knows Disney needs the dollars, man.
Would you rather stay in or go out? This might be kind of an easy one.
Oh man, stay in all day long, man. I have not left this piece of property. I take that back. I left yesterday. Yesterday was the first time I'd left this piece of property in a week and a half. So I'm a homebody, man. When I'm at home, because we travel so much, so I don't want to go. I don't want to go out when I get home, man. Even if I have been home for a year at this point,
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So, would you rather wear the same socks for a month or the same underwear for a week?
I don't wear underwear, so I have to go, and I don't wear socks. I don't have any socks on, and I don't wear socks or underwear. You're gonna have to.
You know what? If anybody should know you don't wear underwear, it should be me, because think about all the times I've taped your pants up.
Yeah, man. On stage,
busted them.
My ball has come out on stage. My testicles hanging out of my pants.
Now,
hey, HooGie, will you?
Like, is that not then like something that maybe says, okay, well, maybe I should start wearing underwear?
No, man, I'm not shy about it. Like, I'm literally. So the last time it happened, I was literally I was playing piano and I felt a draft and I looked down and my dick and the head of my dick was sticking out of a hole in my pants.
Oh,
just geez. Like, oh, this is great. So I had to run over to HooGie and like, hey man, can you tape this? We spent the next taping the inside. So HooGie's got the back of his hand on my junk, and he's like,
I hope you pay this man well, because
HooGie gets paid. Come on.
Was that in the job description?
Yeah, dude. Gaff taping.
Look, he's already got
pants. Yeah. So I mean, look, I would probably. So what was it? Was socks for how long and underwear for how long? I'll answer it. Was
socks for a month, underwear for a week.
Oh, underwear for a week, man. Socks for a month. That would be just ugh. Can't do that. Yeah, no. I'll do the underwear for a week for sure.
Underwear for a week.
Look, I'll tell you this, right? Like, I've had the same pants on for a week and I don't wear underwear. So basically I'm doing that anyway.
Oh, geez.
My butt is super clean, man. There's no look.
I gotta say, out of like all the years I've done this, working with a guy, I've definitely had a lot of sweat on me from these instruments getting back from a guy. Eric, you don't smell. I've worked for some smelly dudes. You don't. Yeah, your perspiration is not like any other.
I sweat like crazy, but I don't. Yeah, I try not to smell. I try to make
you don't smell down there. So HooGie, who does smell down there then?
Yeah, give it up. Give it up.
Yeah, there's been some other bass players I've worked for. They smell ripe, but yeah.
Come on, man. Give just.
Well, let's think of the man that he's Lamb of God.
So, would you rather?
You know how I bet smells really, really good on stage is Ben from Blackstone. I bet he smells really good on stage.
Yeah, he does. He's got.
No, I'm serious.
Even with all that Mexican food that he eats,
dude. I think that I look at dude. I love that. I was about to call him that kid. He's not a kid anymore.
Right.
I love that guy, man. And I guarantee you that he smells like that dude. He just looks like he smells good.
The hair.
It is. Yes, it's the cotton top hair, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Would you rather only be able to produce or only be able to play music?
So you're saying like I can't play any instruments in the studio? Like I just have to?
No, it's either
one or the other.
Yeah, one or the other.
I would play music. My days, and I might have given a different answer in my 20s. But my patience level for putting up with other musicians in the studio is getting really thin, and so like me having to, it's such a, I don't know, man. If I had a really good band, like. There's something that a great producer brings out in a band, and a band brings out in a great producer. That if you get the right combination, it's amazing.
Right. And then you wouldn't even be able to produce your own albums, right?
Yeah, and see, and then I have to put up with some dickhead producer. So shit. I'll have to say that I'd just rather play music, man. I'd rather be a musician for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty. Would you rather Van Halen? Would you rather David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
Sammy Hagar.
Yes. Yes.
And there's a reason why. My first exposure, the first song I ever remember hearing by Van Halen was "Jump," and that was because, and I don't know how it was in Canada, but the first cable television that we had came with 3 channels. And it was, you had your local channels, and then you had ESPN, you had TBS, which was Atlanta, and you had WGN in Chicago. And WGN in Chicago, and that's where all my cartoons came on. So He-Man, there was a cartoon called Mask, Transformers, anything that I loved came on WGN. They had the best cartoon lineup.
Yeah.
And when they would put up on the screen the Cubs schedule, they were playing Jump. And that was my first exposure to Van Halen. Was because I remember that, I remember loving the way that sounded as a 7-year-old or whatever it was, 8-year-old kid. But at some point, and it wasn't long after the record came out, a guy down the street from me gave me a cassette tape that on one side had AC/DC Back in Black, on the other side had 5150. And it had to have been right after it came out, because I'm thinking about the time frame. It was probably the year that 5150 came out. And they used to be able to get these long cassette tapes. Remember those? They were 120 minutes or something. And you could put a whole record on one side and a whole record on the other side. And I wore out that record, man. And that was I fell in love with Van Halen. And then I didn't go back and get any of the other records. I got OU812 when it came out. But this is when I was first starting to learn how to play guitar. So it was just. That was my Van Halen. And then, of course, I went back and bought all the records. That's, Van Halen's one of my, probably most influential. I mean, he is the most influential artist on my career, my early career anyway. And in my early learning how to play, I learned everything I could learn that he played, and I played it all badly. But I learned the best I could. I just dug in on every Van Halen record, and I learned to love. I mean, I remember the first Roth record I got was Diver Down. That was the first one that I got with Roth on it. And then, just kind of worked backward from there. Funny enough, the last Roth record I bought was 1984. Would have been the last Roth record. I kind of went back and then went back up and got that one. But Hagar, for me, man, it was just something special in that songwriting and in what he, what he brought to the table for that band that but I love them both. I mean, I love I recently discovered on YouTube and this is prior to Eddie passing away. This was probably, 6 months ago. I found some early 1978 live performances, and I think when they were opening for Deep Purple or Black Sabbath or something, and they were the opening band, and that, it was just pure fire, man. There is no doubt why that band is and was who they are. It was just unbelievable, just the energy and the musicianship and the vocals. The Eddie and Michael's vocals, harmonies and stuff are just dead on. it's one thing, and I can attest to this. It's one thing to on stage, you as a musician, to think you're singing in tune with the singer. You think you're lining up with them, and then you watch something back later and you're like, oh man, maybe how can that be? I thought that I was like, I heard it, I was there, and I thought it was great, and it's not so great. Just to hear that back and just hear how on spot on their harmonies were and stuff, man, and just it's unbelievable. So I know it's a long. I had to give you the reason why, though. I will always be a Hagar fan, and just that dude, he just seems like such a good dude too.
That's why I was always a Hagar fan, because I'm just like, he seems like the nicer one of the two.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I grew up with Hagar, right? So like, and that's, I think, another thing is that it depends what generation you are. So the people who grew up with DLR, obviously are DLR fans, but then I think the younger generation, we grew up with Sammy. Like I knew nothing but Sammy until I got a little older, and I'm like, oh wait, they had another singer before this. Right.
And here's the thing though, it caused me to, I bought all the Hagar records too. Yeah. After that, like even 3 Lock Box, right? Yeah. But here's the thing is that I also, at that same time, Skyscraper and Eat 'Em and Smile and those records were coming out by Roth, and he had a great band, of course, with Bai and Sheehan and I bought those records and I thought they were great. I just, as I just wasn't musically intelligent yet. I didn't know that Roth had been in Van Halen, and I had to kind of go back and discover these things, But so yeah, man, I've just always been a giant Hagar fan. So
well, and it was a totally different band once Hagar came too. Like it wasn't not even like they could have literally changed the name of the band because nothing was the same.
Correct. I mean, right? the band sounded the same, of course.
Sure, but
rhythm section
they became obviously a little bit more poppier. They started adding in the production, I think, was improved.
Well, here's what they did, and here's why this is my personal opinion, and this is why the longevity was there for Van Halen. They went from being from writing party anthems,
right?
That's what they did, to writing meaningful songs, over the course when they brought Hagar in, and I watched an interview recently with him about joining the band, and that's one thing that he was reading a lot of introspective materials, and he wanted to write about personal things, and he wanted to write about that's how songs like Dreams and
and Right Now
and songs like that happen. And believe me, they still wrote party songs. I mean, like Pound Cake right? And Cabo Wabo and whatever else, but mixed in with that, man, we're just some really meaningful, like Love Walks In, and really meaningful songs, and so I think that's why they ended up having the longevity they had. I don't know if they would have had that longevity if they had put another party boy singer in there. I think maybe it would have become a caricature of what they used to be, and rather instead of doing that, they brought somebody in who was who still wanted to have a great time and still wrote great feel-good songs, but there was a little more depth to it. And I think that grew because their audience was getting older, and I think that caused them to continue to grow. So
absolutely,
just my opinion.
All right, there you go. Spartan Brews presenting Would You Rather. Visit them online, SpartanBrews.com, and use our promo code to save 20%. We will come back. We're going to do Ask a Question with Eric Bass of Shinedown coming up on the Mark and HooGie Show.
Hey, what's up? This is Mike Newshock with Stained in Santa Sonia. You're watching the Mark and HooGie Show.
Adventure Mystic is Mystic, Connecticut's premier paddle sports destination, featuring bike, kayak, and paddleboard rentals, sunrise, sunset, and full moon paddle events, kayak and paddleboard lessons, tours, and private parties, paddleboards, skateboards, snowboards, and so much more. Now shipping anywhere in North America. Order online at adventuremystic.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Support the Mark and HooGie Show by purchasing your very own Mark and HooGie Show merch. Shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, and even flip-flops. You want to walk all over them, just like their kids do. So head over to the merch page at themarkandhoogieshow.com today.
Rev Amplification is committed to innovation, tone, and service. Check out the new Alpha Series, the all-new G20 and D20, as well as our great line of pedals. The plan from the start with the G-Series pedals was to recreate the tone of our amplifiers. You can pick that up in one of the 3 options, the G2, G3, and G4 pedals, and they're available today over at revamplification.com.
WB Gear. We are determined to help get artist endorsement and the gear you need. Featuring brands such as SIT Strings, Prestige Guitars, Bestronic Pro Audio, Rev Amplification, Guitar Gifts for You, Neat Audio, Big Ben's Nut Sauce, In-Tune Guitar Picks, Mental Case Inc., Rockstock Pedals, and Barefoot Buttons. New artists can apply at WBGear.com today.
Prestige Guitars. We manufacture both solid and semi-hollow body electric guitars, bass guitars, and acoustics, using only the top components. Whether you're on stage, in the studio, or at home, Prestige Guitars will ensure that you sound, feel, and look the best each and every time you pick it up. Check out our new custom shop online at prestigeguitars.com. Ask a Question is brought to you by Adventure Mystic. Adventure Mystic is Mystic, Connecticut's premier paddle sports destination, featuring bike, kayak, and paddleboard rentals, paddleboards, skateboards, snowboards, and so much more. Now shipping anywhere in North America. Order online at adventuremystic.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Hey, what's up? It is the Mark and HooGie Show, and Adventure Mystic presents Ask a Question. Visit them online, adventuremystic.com. All right, Eric, so we had a lot of people submit questions for you this week. So, you know what? Let's just get right to it. Here you go. Question number 1.
Hey, Eric. Hope you and Kelly are doing well. If you had the ability to go back in time to see one specific concert and tour, which would it be and why?
All right. Sebastian,
Nice.
man. I love Sebastian. He's a cool guy.
He is.
So I got to think of one. Man, it's a toss up. So I'll give both. I'll give both. So Pink Floyd, bar none, like, and it doesn't even have to be original lineup. Like I'm again, even after Waters left, that's the first Pink Floyd I knew, and I kind of went backward and found all these other great things.
I thought you were going to even go back as like Sid Barrett days. I was like,
no, but I did. I mean, Saucer Cup Full of Secrets and all of that. I love all of it. I really, really do. And so I never saw Pink Floyd play. I've never even seen Gilmour play, and he probably.
Have you seen Waters play? Have you ever seen the Waters?
Never seen any of it, man. No. So, but I mean, I wore out, Pulse and Delicate Sound of Thunder and all of that stuff, and I've gone back and watched the reunion shows with Waters and the one reunion show, I guess. And so that my wife, here's both of these things, by the way, I missed because I was playing shows. So, playing in regional bands and whatnot, and I couldn't go. My wife went to see Pink Floyd, and I was supposed to go, and I didn't go. And she was my girlfriend at the time. And then the other one is Rage Against the Machine. I've never seen Rage play. Probably sonically and energy wise, my favorite band of all time. Like, just as far as the way that no other. I mean, we talk about Van Halen in the rhythm section. So Eddie, Michael, and Alex make a noise that you can't. It's not repeatable. You cannot repeat that. You cannot repeat the Rage Against the Machine band, and then you put Zach on top of that. They've tried to repeat. And look, I loved Audioslave. It was great.
Oh my God, I love Audioslave too.
The rhythm section still sounds like those guys, and even with Prophets of Rage, they've tried it again, but it doesn't make the same noise. And I just love that noise that those guys make together. And I was hoping that if COVID hadn't happened, I would have been able to would have been able to see it probably. But here's the thing: there's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, making that noise. There's a video, and you can find it if you've never seen it before. It's worth watching. It's Rage Against the Machine's first show ever, and they're playing on a college campus in like an atrium or something, and they're almost like on a little bandstand thing, and nobody is there. I mean, it's just the four of them on this little concrete thing, and somebody's VHS camera filming it, and they're playing Killin' in the Name, and it sounds like the first record. I mean, it's just like, that's what they do. And so that to me is those are the ones that I missed. And I've seen so many other great bands,
Right.
But those are the two, man, for sure.
Nice. All right, let's go to our next question.
Hi, Mark and HooGie. Anke from the Netherlands here. My question for you, Eric. Which Star Wars character could all the guys of Shinedown play, including you? And why? I really want to know.
All right. Hi, Anka. So, I think Brent is total Han Solo, right? I mean, cavalier, shooting from the hip, but has a plan, sort of, totally that. Let's see. Barry is Chewbacca all day long, man. No, but there's a reason for this, man. Fiercely loyal, right? Yep. I mean, fiercely loyal, and like Barry feels like he has a life debt for everybody he meets. Like seriously, like he would bend over backwards and do anything for anybody, and he's got these paws that are like, like vice grips. So it's perfect. So that's Barry is definitely Chewy. Let's see.
Where's Zach gonna land?
Oh man, I don't know. Let's see. This is tough. I don't know who I would be. I don't know, man. That's kind of I'd like to think that I would be like Obi-Wan, right? I'm dangerous but knowledgeable and wise, but sometimes stupid and all of these things. But I might be giving myself a little too much credit. I mean,
I was going to say you might be Yoda.
I was going to say Jar Jar, but. And I'm not a Jar Jar hater. I'm just like, sometimes I feel like that's more who I am. Like we get those memes where it's like, what I think I do and what I'm actually doing. I picture Obi-Wan is what I think I'm doing. A picture of Jar Jar is actually what I'm doing.
Okay.
And then Zach, man, look, it's hard not to goof on Zach. I do goof on Zach a lot. I goofed on Zach from the minute that I got in the band. Like there was, I think we there's actually a picture of Shinedown as our band is now, taken on the first day that we were ever a band like that. And it's pretty amazing to look at. And I look at that picture, I think about that day, and me and Barry, Zach, and Carlos went out to dinner. Carlos was our front of house at the time, went out to get sushi, and Zach made a comment. He said, well, it's just nice to know that I'm not the new guy anymore. I'm not going to get picked on. And I came right at him like that, dude, with some shot. And I forget what it was, but everybody goes, oh man, like kind of, marking the territory.
Right.
And I love Zach so much. I love every member of my band so much, but I do goof on him, man, like a lot. So it's hard for me not to give a goofy answer. I'm not going to give a goofy answer for Zach. Zach is, man, I'm gonna give Zach the Luke Skywalker. I'll give him that because he is and young Luke Skywalker too, like episode 4 Luke Skywalker. No, I'm serious. Because he is vastly underrated as a guitar player, just like Luke was vastly underrated by everybody around him. And Zach carries with him something that look, I know he's getting older, so I see him get a little darker every day, but he carries this youthfulness with him too, man. That's super important, and he keeps us all, all kind of young, and so, he's that's what I would say. I would say he's the unsung, as he would say, the seemingly unknown guitar player, Zach Myers, which is a tragedy. It's actually a tragedy that everyone in our band is seemingly unknown. Honestly, I mean, just because I think we're a really good band. I think we're a tight unit on stage and off, and sometimes I think we're talked about more for our songwriting than our abilities, I guess.
Right.
But I'd put every single one of my guys up against anybody else any day of the week, man. So there we go.
All right. Now on to our next question.
Hello, Mark. Hello, HooGie. Once again, this is Music Nerd 86, and I have one question for Mr. Eric Bass of Shinedown. Eric, you're a huge Star Wars fan. We all know your awesome tattoos and everything. How did you start your love of Star Wars? Or who introduced you to the Star Wars world that we have going on here? I would really like to know that.
Okay, so that's a great question. So I've got a couple different answers. So my dad took me, and I had to ask him this because I was born in 1974. I'm going to show my age a little bit here. So born in 74, the first movie came out in 77. I remember being in the theater seeing. I remember two things. I remember talking to my friend Braden, who I saw in the lobby of the movie theater, and asked him if it was scary when the Death Star blew up. And he said no. I believe he said no. And then I remember seeing it explode on the screen. But I had to have been super young. And I asked my dad. He's like, no, I took you to when they re-released it in 78, I think. So, or 79. He's like, I took you to one of the re-release shows. So I remember that. My first real memory though is being in the theater. I guess my mom had taken me to see Empire, and I remember the blue and white of Hoth, like the blue sky and the white snow when the snow speeders are flying, looking for Luke. Right. I remember that vividly. That's all I remember about the movie in the theater is that. Yeah. But my first real thing that drew me into Star Wars is that I never went to the theater to see Jedi. I never saw Return of the Jedi in the theater for some reason. I had all the toys, man, that I could get my hands on. I loved Star Wars. Like I had all the TIE Fighter and the X-Wing and whatever. I could bug my mom to my poor parents, man. So many kids that just wanted stuff, and somehow my dad on a Navy salary, got us toys. But we had a book. I had the Return of the Jedi picture book, and it was scenes. On the front was Luke Skywalker with the green lightsaber on Jabba's barge, and I was like, that book. Looking through that, and I also had one of the story record of Episode 4 that I could put on. And people don't remember this, but I'm showing my age again. But they were these records that you could put on, pictures, and it would say every time you hear R2D2 beep, turn the page, And so I'd kind of relive the noises and sounds of Star Wars with that. So that was really like the first thing that brought me in, and I just, of course, I eventually saw Jedi in, probably on TV or something, and just, loved playing Star Wars with my friends. Like that was a big thing. But then fast forward to really recently, before The Last Jedi came out, I discovered these gentlemen that were doing a show. It was called Jedi Council. It was on a network called Collider. And they also part of the Schmodown and Schmo's Nose podcast. And these guys did a Star Wars show, guys and girls, I should say. Fantastic women and loving talking about Star Wars on that show as well. And, couple of them like Ken Knapsack and Mark Riley were two of the guys, and I've actually become friends with those gentlemen. But they really rekindled my obsession with Star Wars, kind of later on. Because I was on tour and I would just watch these videos all the time, and I became a fan of what they were doing, and they were, they just kind of made me love Star Wars again. And so then I got in and watched Clone Wars and Rebels and all these cartoons, and it became some of my favorite Star Wars storytelling were in those cartoons. So, yeah, man, those are kind of the point, and I've just retained it since then. Like I've through all of that stuff, I just started developing this data bank of knowledge about Star Wars. It's kind of sad sometimes, that I have so much knowledge.
One of the coolest days off I've had on the road over the last few years was, and you know what I'm going to say, we were out with Iron Maiden, and we were playing. It was the O2, and there was this giant Star Wars exhibit. Mm-hmm. In the arena, and I ended up going down there, and I met the dude at the front. I ended up talking the guy into letting me and Eric and his wife Kelly in for free, and we walked around this thing, and just watching him geek out and oh my god, this, and it was all real costumes from the. It was the biggest collection of Star Wars memorabilia on the earth. Some guy owns and he ships it around. The museum goes from place to place, but yeah.
I think there was literally the actual Han Solo and Carbonite, Leia's slave outfit, model, all the models that they used to film with. The Millennium Falcon and whatever. But the thing I flipped out about the most, and I can't believe this, this is the thing that got me. There was something about it, was they actually have Jabba the Hutt's eyes. Really? So the mechanical eyes, you can see the mechanical bits on the back, the electronics. but his actual eyes, and for some reason, Jabba the Hutt's eyes were the thing that I was like, I can't believe, like it was just something about that for some reason that did it for me. So it was super interesting though. I'm with HooGie, man. That was a great day off.
I got this pencil case that Eric purchased for me. Like, I remember being a kid in school, and it's got the guys from Star Wars on it. And I remember like, oh, this is amazing. It's usually in my bag, but I remember it's upstairs in my closet because I'll keep my watches and stuff in it. But yeah,
if we had more time, I could go through my phone and I could actually find Jabba the Hutt's eyes. I took pictures of it, of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right.
Let's go to our next question.
Hi, Eric. My question is, how do you stay positive when you're having a bad day?
Oh man, that's a great question. I fail a lot actually at that. It's important to remember when dealing with depression issues, a lot of people think that, and I'm like this, I do this to myself where I feel like I need to fight all the time. And it can exhaust you. That fight can really drain you. So there's certain days when I don't, certain days when I just have to accept it and just make my way the best I can, I guess. But the efforts that I make to stay positive in those moments are exercise is hugely important for me. And pushing myself physically through things that I don't feel like I can do. So, like this morning, I went for a run, and I had a goal in mind that I was going to do it at a certain speed, and I mean, I knew I was in trouble out of the gate, right? And I had 4.5 miles to do, and I'm a half a mile in, and I'm dying. And I just had this voice in my head that kept asking me the same question. I just kept asking myself, "Are you a bitch? Are you a bitch?" No, I'm not a bitch. I'm not a bitch. Not a bitch. And that just kind of said David Goggins thing that I have in my head, right? That kind of pushes me through. But that's an aside. But the exercise is hugely important. Making yourself do something difficult. Again, that's what that is. So if you can't do something like that in your professional life, do something difficult that you don't think you can do in your personal life. Accomplish something. That's part of it. Of course, the endorphins and everything with the exercise is huge, but it's more the fact of, I just did something really difficult and I got through it, and that's automatically going to make you feel better. The other thing for me is being creative. Again, like in the moments when I'm not creative, I have a really difficult time. So, like right now, Brent's out doing Smith Myers. Of course, by the time this airs, he won't be, but he and Zach are out doing Smith Myers drive-in shows. And so I haven't really been writing anything, but I'm working on the studio and I'm coming up with designs and trying to be creative with that. So those are really, for me, the two big things that will turn my day around. And also, never forgetting that, I've said it before, depression doesn't discriminate. It affects anybody who has it. Doesn't matter what your status is, doesn't matter how much money you got in the bank, etc. But with that being said, there are two things: is I'm not a victim. I really tell myself that over and over and over again. I just have to deal with something, but I'm not a victim. Mm-hmm. And that I don't know, trying to find the right way to put it, I guess. It's heavy, man. It's heavy. I'm not a victim, and I have to be thankful for everything that I have, because in those moments of being super down, it's easy just to shrink everything down to that one thing. You shrink everything down to that one way you're feeling right now, and that's the only thing that matters, the only thing that exists, and it's very hard to break out of. But if you can kind of think about the grand scheme of things and just remind yourself that, hey, I'm still breathing, I'm still here, I still had the fortitude today to get out of bed and to move and to move through life, But I think that taking all of the things that I said and coming back to it is for me, it's accomplishment. Like, accomplish something. It'll change the way you feel about yourself, and that's sometimes the driving factor. So what can you do today to feel accomplished? Is it whatever it is, bake a cake, whatever it is.
I love cake.
Clean the house.
Always makes me happy. Yeah,
he does.
clean the house, whatever that thing is, just accomplish something for yourself, because, you're the only person that can do that thing. Mm-hmm. So there we go. That's my answer.
No, that was awesome. A good answer. Thank you. All right, let's go to our next question.
Hi, HooGie. Hi, Mark. This is Lori from Chesterfield, New Jersey, and I have a question for Eric Bass. Hi, Eric. We miss you and Barry very much. My question is, how has not being on stage and, being cooped up and the whole quarantine thing, how has that affected your depression? Has it made it worse? Have you had to find different things to do to fight it? And just what kind of things have you done to kind of get through? And if this is too personal of a question, feel free to tell me to eat a bag of dicks. Thank you for taking my question. I hope you're well. And until next time.
Eat a bag. I love that.
So yeah, I guess kind of similar to what you were just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I eat a bag of dicks. That's what I do. That's how I feel better. Do you know that you can order a bag of dicks and have it sent to somebody?
Gummies or
yeah. Just order somebody a bag of dicks.
HooGie's got them.
That's the best thing.
Cases of those things.
Cases.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's getting for Christmas.
Bag of dicks.
Great.
Mom, I hope you like this.
Mom, got you a bag of dicks.
So yeah, I already talked about the kind of what I do to work on the depression. As far as not playing shows, man. All right, so again, if I've said that this pandemic, whatever it is at this point, I don't know if it's just something that people are using politically. I don't know anymore.
Right.
It's obviously there are people who are sick and et cetera. So using this lockdown time, let's put it that way. I spend a lot of time on tour. Again, it's hard. I said I'm not a victim, right? That's something that I've instituted more recently than anything. On tour, I have in the past I've had a tendency to get super down and depressed once again because I can't be creative and all this, and it's very for all the excitement and the love that I have for being on stage. It's a mundane life for the artist, not for HooGie. HooGie's working all day, man. He's getting after it. We spend a lot of our time just. What am I going to do now? I've seen the whole internet today. What can I do? I try to be so I get down and I didn't realize until I was told that I couldn't do that thing. I can't go on tour. I'm not allowed to play my music or to see fans or to have that release. That again, you're kind of thrust into, how much you love doing that and how much appreciation you have for the ability to do what you do for a living. And you realize that you're just being a little bitch asshole rock star in those moments, probably, woe is me. I have to sit here and be on this bus and, oh, it's so bad. But then once you get on stage, all that goes away. So that's really what it caused me to realize and to really miss it. We were supposed to do 2 tours or something, HooGie, this year, and
tours,
and both of them got taken away, and it's had me down. I've had some of my lowest points, and like a lot of people, I'm sure, during this, and so. Yeah, I think that the not being able to tour, you realize what a release that is, and the other side of that too is I've been able to spend time with my wife that I wouldn't have normally had. And that's, she and I are literally best friends. So it's been really nice to be able to spend time with her and enjoy being at the house and being,
Well, and I think it helps that you're now building this studio too, which has been keeping you busy, right? And that's what I always hear from, addicts or people who do suffer from depression. It's like, you just got to keep busy. And that's, I know, like Slash, for example, always says he has to keep busy. Otherwise he gets in, into trouble. Right. And
I call it outrunning it. Yeah. I have to, I know that I'm never going to beat it. I just have to outrun it. And so that's a great way. That Slash is right. This is the reason why I'll be honest with you, the reason why musicians have addiction issues and is because you have too much time on your hands, man.
Right.
Your job is in that, HooGie knows I stopped drinking 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago or something.
About that,
at least on stage, I was doing like half a bottle of Crown a night, maybe more on stage.
It happens.
But you know what? I had a shit ton of fun on stage, man. I don't think I played any worse than I do now.
He's like,
no, I'm serious. I honestly, like, how about I'll tell you something very personal. And this was a while ago, but this was the 2010 live from Washington State DVD. We did the double DVD where we had the acoustic show and then the live from Washington State. I was not only drinking all the Crown Royal I could get my hands on all night, but I was also on pills. I was taking not really recreationally, but just to feel better up here. I was taking Lortab, and I did have some back issues, and I had the prescription Justly. I don't remember playing that show. I don't remember physically being on stage. I don't remember anything about it. I missed one note in that whole show.
But does that not scare you? Like, thinking back and being like, is that not terrifying? Being like, holy shit! Like, I don't even remember anything about that show.
A little bit, man. Like, but but I had to. I dug myself out of it. I think so. I mean, it's a little scary. I won't get too much more personal about it, but yeah, man, it's I don't remember how we got off on that tangent about drinking, but
just about keeping busy.
Keeping busy. Yeah. So I would drink that, and then I get off stage and it's like, why not just keep going and just drink beer and then I would just feel like crap the next day, and you get up and you feel so bad about yourself. So what do you do when you feel really bad about yourself? You just do it all over again, So Slash is absolutely right, man. You got to stay busy. And so one thing that did help was I did start working on my record that I did. I wrote a lot of those tracks and melodies on tour. I did have that. Poor HooGie would have to haul my gear up to the room every day on days off. I did have it in 2 Pelican cases though. It was pretty.
Dude, man, it's StreamYard. It was easy.
Pretty streamlined. Yeah. So I did do that, and that definitely helped me on the last tour for sure. I'm a little worried about going into the next tour because I'm going to be completely not wanting to work on any sort of a record for a minute, probably, since I just did mine, and then I'm doing it literally got my mixes done for my record, and Brent shows up and we start writing Shinedown, so I'm going to be kind of ready to not do a record, so I'll have to find something else to do.
I worry more about the fact that bands are going to be touring nonstop, I think, when we get back too. And I worry, because now you hear these reports of a lot of people are getting back, alcohol abuse and drug abuse and spousal abuse and stuff like that, and depression. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, when you see all these bands now get out on the road, sure, it's going to be good for some, but then that's when other people do get in. You're on the road for 2 years straight. That isn't good either.
Yeah,
it's scary.
It's going to be interesting. I've been through, and not for any other reason, but just sometimes I have really, with the depression, of course, comes the anxiety, and I look, and this might be a little too personal too, but I'll say it. I used to have so much fun on stage when I would drink. I never got there are like when I was doing the pills and the drinking thing. Right. Yeah, I don't remember some of that stuff, but like just the drinking, you kind of get to a point where it's like you're burning off a lot of it, and you just kind of keep a good buzz all night. And and I remember playing those shows. I remember playing most of the shows that I played, but I didn't have any anxiety on stage. I just had fun. I just didn't think about anything but having a great time and playing music. And since I stopped drinking, I don't have as much fun because I get up on stage and all I do is think about ridiculous things like, do I look okay? Did I play that note all right? Am I going to miss this next thing coming?
And my dick's gonna
fall. What's that person out there on the third row thinking? Like,
what's HooGie gonna fuck up tonight?
Nah, man, I don't ever worry about that. So I've been, I kind of been joking around about, like, with my wife. I'm like, I think I just need to get a good drinking habit again. I think I need to. I think I need to. I won't. Yeah, I won't. But it's like so many of us, and again, we're not victims. We're just fucking musicians. We get paid to do we get paid to live our dreams. Mm-hmm. But most artists, musicians have some sort of anxiety or some sort of fear of failure or fear of not performing, and so the alcohol just helps with that, man. It's like it just takes that away, and so it's hard not to want to fall back into that, you know.
It's been helpful being at home, you know, just like for myself. Kids are so young, getting that time with them, you know, I'm definitely appreciating all of that time with them here. But just being creative in other ways, like starting this podcast with Mark, that's been pretty fun. Getting, you know, I want to continue doing this even on the road and just be able to take it, you know, keep growing it with Mark. But one thing I really, really miss is that 2 minutes before I hand you that bass on stage with that kabuki, and I'm like, we're in an arena, and you're just like the crowd's cheering, and you're looking up, and you're like, holy shit! Like
that's my favorite part of the night.
That's my favorite part. I miss that feeling more than anything. Like
when the actual intro starts playing, you know, and everybody knows the show's about to happen.
Your heart starts beating.
Yeah, man. And then you pass me the guitar, and I give HooGie a hug, and we tell each other. We always say we love each other, love you, have a good show, and we do it, man. There's like there's nothing quite like I call it being strapped into the machine. You know, like you're part of a machine now when you do that, and it's like, again, man, I spent the last tour we did in Europe. I mean, of course I'm going to go out every night and give it my all on stage. I always do. I will never phone it in, but I was tired and I was beaten up and I was in pain, and I wasn't enjoying it. You know, like I should. Like you would think you're doing an arena tour of Europe. You're playing last show is in the O2, you know, sold out. You know, what a great opportunity. And I just remember being on stage and my thought was, I can't wait to get on that airplane and go home. You know, and here I am sitting here and not able to. I got on the airplane, I came home, and it felt great. I definitely needed the break. But now I feel like such an asshole for having that thought of like, I just can't wait to, you know,
right,
be done with this for right now. And here we are, you know, not able to, and not knowing when we're going to be able to. And, you know, it definitely, I think just like the fans, I think have an all new appreciation for live shows. Believe me, man, the musicians, especially the ones that were having the types of thoughts that I was having about it, you know, when you're tired and burned out, I got a whole new outlook on it as well. So,
all right, let's go to our next question.
Hi, it's me, Ellis, from the other concert. Do you have a guitar named Rose or Tallulah?
And what do you say for him answering your question?
Thank you.
Did you also want to ask him if he likes unicorns?
Do you like unicorns?
Do I have a guitar named Rose or Tallulah? Is that what she said?
Yeah, Rose or Tallulah. And do you like unicorns?
HooGie, I think we now have two guitars, one named Rose and one named Tallulah. We just have to find them.
We have to find them.
Actually, man, that's not a bad name for one of those relic basses that I got. The like Rose is a good name for that one with the painting on it, right?
Yeah.
Rose and Tallulah. So now I do. I'll figure it out. And I do like unicorns a lot. So my wife and I have horses, and she has horses. I sort of third party have horses, I guess. But I enjoy the horses. I enjoy feeding them and cleaning up after them and all of that type of stuff. I don't ride them, but I do enjoy being around them. And I am all about dressing one up as a unicorn. Or tomorrow, all of them up as unicorn.
Halloween tomorrow. I'm just saying. Instagram, you're in your Princess Leia costume on a unicorn.
Oh man, that would be phenomenal. Yeah, I did. I recently did a spoof. I wrote a stupid Star Wars song for my friend Mark Riley's Star Wars show. He's doing a live Star Wars show, and I did a video and I dressed up as Princess Leia and performed my song.
Oh my God!
You know, it'll be we're gonna make it available to the whole internet here before too long. But
all right, let's go to our next question.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Especially Mark and HooGie. This is a question for Eric Bass, and I'm wondering towards Eric, Zach always tells the audition story about when you auditioned for Shinedown. So, and he says that you brought a guitar and a bass. So, when you were auditioning Shinedown, which instrument did you had in mind to play in the band? Was it strictly guitar, or was it just strictly bass?
That's a good question. Yeah, I did. So just a little backstory was that I was aware of Shinedown. I was not plugged into Shinedown's music very much at that point. I was just producing and doing my thing in the studio, and I actually worked with a lot of indie bands and emo bands and that kind of thing. But I was aware of the singles and that sort of thing. And Steve Robertson, who is our A&R at Atlantic, I knew through producing, and I'd met him, and he and I had a good relationship, a good rapport. And he was like, hey, you know, would you be interested in writing some songs with Shinedown? And I said, of course. And they were writing for what would become Sound of Madness. And he said, also, they need a bass player. And I said, okay. And so Brent came in town, and we started writing. We wrote for 2 or 3 days, and then the rest of the band showed up. And that was actually me that said that. I was like, because I was so used to working with bands and not just individual songwriting, which is something I've learned more about now. But I was like, bring the band in. I'd love to like just whatever Brent and I write, I'd love to record with the band. And so they did, and we worked on some stuff, and that was that. And I later on, I won't get into all the nitty gritty of everything, but then, you know, fast forward a couple of months, and Steve's like, hey, you know, they also need a guitar player. And so he was like, why don't you just learn learn these songs on both instruments? And so I did. I completely lied about the fact that I was a bass player, though. I was not a bass player. I played in the studio. I've been playing bass as long as I've been playing guitar, but I was more of a guitar player. And so I literally just lied on my resume, man, you know, and got an audition, you know, and I came in, and the rest is what it is. But I pretty much knew that. I mean, as far as like knocking it out of the park, I mean, the bass stuff was going to be easier, you know, and so I auditioned on bass first because it was just me, Zach, and Barry at first for the first half of the day, and I had to learn all the vocal harmonies and stuff like that. So I think that because it wasn't mastered yet, but they sent me like Sound of Madness, Devour, Second Chance, Fly from the Inside, Heroes, or a couple others, Save Me. Anyway, but that's kind of what we kind of did those songs, and it went well. I don't think I ever unpacked the guitar. I mean, Zach was, you know, and we had Nick Perry coming in as well to audition on guitar. But you know, look, I didn't know this till after the fact, but Brent and everybody were like, look, you already had the gig. You just had to show up and not like ruin it. Cause we all got along really well. And that was the thing. You know, the hardest thing about being in a band is being in a band. And so, you know, we'd all gotten, me and Brent and Barry, I hadn't met Zach until then, but me and Brent and Barry had gotten along really well when they came to the studio and to work. So, they were just like, you know, you kind of already had the gig, but we had to go through the motions and bring these other people in, and because we had made promises to people for auditions and whatnot. So that felt really good. I never took the guitar out. I never had to play anything on guitar. Zach, actually, man, it's pretty funny how the universe is, and how that first day Nick wasn't there at all. Nick showed up a couple of days later, and we played together like that. But the universe just kind of knew that Shinedown needs to be a 4-piece band, and this is how it's happy, because. And nothing against Nick. Nick is a fantastic player and a fantastic human being. Really one of the sweetest people that I've ever met. But you know, it sounds more like a unit when it was just me and Zach and Barry, and that was it. And there were, you know, no tracks running or anything. This is just the band. This is how it is. And it's amazing how fast forward to a year and a half later when Nick left the band, or maybe it wasn't even that long. We got back from a European tour with Disturbed. I think was it that tour? Or was it the tour after that, HooGie? It was one of the two.
It was. I think we got back. Then he made the announcement, and then we did a U.S. run with him, and we ended. We ended in Chicago with him at a House of Blues, and then we went to the Machine Shop for 2 nights.
Yeah. And then that was the Machine Shop show was the first professionally playing as
four of us
with that, and I was on the wrong side of the stage. I took the other side of the stage at that point.
It would have been December of 2008.
Yeah, a lot of snow.
Yes.
But so HooGie's been around you've been around that long, HooGie?
I've been working with the band on and off since 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
HooGie was working for all three of us, and then all two of us at the same time back then. Poor guy. We were rolling a little thinner back then than we can now. But yeah, and then playing those shows at the Machine Shop, it was like, oh wow, you heard it again. It was like, oh, this just coalesces in a way that that just feels really good. So, I really cherish the fact that picture I talked about earlier with just me, Brent, Barry, and Zach. All Barry's the only one that maybe looks a little similar. I look like some weird emo kid. Brent's heavy, overweight, drug-addled. Barry looks like Barry. And Zach looks like a Hot Topic threw up all over him.
Yeah, it is funny looking at old photos. Like, it looks like a totally different band.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. You put it side by side, it's like that's not the same band.
Yeah, but I cherish that picture of that first day because it's like, wow, man, how many bands actually have like a picture of the first time they ever played in a room together?
Right.
Like that, yeah. And so I love that. I love the fact that picture exists. So
amazing. And all right, we have our last question, and it is from Red Cup Jeff.
Hey, Miles and HooGie, Red Cup Jeff, checking in one more time. I've got a question. This week is for a guy named Eric Bass, who plays in a band called Shinedown. I Googled you. I Wikipedia. I even asked Jeeves. And the top 3 questions. How old is Eric? What happened to Eric? And is Eric married? But I want to know. Everybody wants to know. You have the opportunity to play 4 strings. 4. You choose to only play 2 from what I hear. Why is that? All right. I'm looking forward to hearing the answer. Until next time, Red Cup Jeff, out.
I honestly feel like Jeff hasn't slept since our last episode.
Well, Jeff, I think Jeff is clued in to more of the universe than most people. That's what I think. Because he has some very good questions. First of all, I've said my 846. I'll answer all the Ask Jeeves. What happened to Eric? I got old. I turned 46. That's what happened to me, and I am married I've been married for a long time. 17 years married, 28 years together, 26 years together, 28 years together. Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Happy belated anniversary.
Thank you so much. I'm married to the most patient woman on the face of the planet, dude. I'm so lucky, dude. She's just like the coolest person, and like I could go on, and I sound like I'm pandering, but I'm not. I mean, like literally, like I end up with a wife who likes watching football, who likes watching golf, who leaves me alone to do my thing, doesn't nag me about being in the studio, doesn't. Yeah, it's like fucking perfect.
Doesn't tell you that you can't order a super expensive console or something.
Actually, how about this? No, this is my wife. I said, never mind, I'm not going to order the Neve console because I can't justify the money. I'll just order this Avid control surface because I've got all the pre's and everything, and I can route back through the analog stuff. It would be nice to have it all in one thing and whatever. I walk in the kitchen 2 hours later, and she's looking up stuff on the Neve console. She's trying to find. She's like, "Are you sure? Because like this is really nice." And I'm like, "See, that's my wife. That's who I'm married to." To the question of only playing 2 strings on a bass in the studio, I will only play on 1 string if that's an option. Because the bass to me just sounds better. Those higher notes sound, unless you're playing church bass or slap bass or something like that, I don't want anything to do with those 2 higher strings. I feel like, and I'll play them live more than I will in the studio. Live, it's kind of a necessity of like singing and playing a lot. So it's like, if I can get the note down here, where am I? I'm backwards on this camera. If I can get the note down the neck, and get to it easier rather than having to like look down and slide up here, I'm gonna choose to do that. I only do it if I have to though, because for me, the E string and the A string just tonally fill up space. The minute you get above that, it's like, okay, I'm just playing guitar at this point. So I love the way that how full that sounds. I would literally only play 2 strings if I could get away with it. I think that would be great. Just only have 2 strings on the bass. I think HooGie probably agrees, because like literally, I don't even know why you changed the G string on the bass.
I'm not going to name the artist, but I have worked for an artist who only played 1 string, and I would only ever change that 1 string. And he never knew. He never knew about the other ones.
Well, now I want to know we need to know who this is.
I'll tell you after. But yeah.
No, man, I just tonally love the way that if I can get away with, and I also love this about the bass is, for me, a guitar is supposed to be precise and intricate, and a guitar is elegant and all of these things. A bass is a fucking hammer. It's a tool. It's a Mack truck. It's not supposed to be dainty and and look at all the little things I can do with my hands. It's not that. It's just like, give me some weight. That's what it is. It's a boat anchor, and hey, there's one of my hammers right there. That is the Eric Bass signature model prestige bass hammer. And that's one of the prototypes as well, I believe.
It is.
Yeah. I just prefer the way it sounds. I would rather slide up to a note because it's just got an attitude to it, and not this thing, but like just getting from here to here, and it's just got some urgency to it, and I just prefer that as a player. So in the studio, if I can get away with just playing everything on the low string, I'll do that rather than dancing all over the place and trying to look, man, all you're doing, once you get past eighth notes and 4 chords, you're just trying to impress 15-year-old boys, period. It's all you're doing, and it's I appreciate people who are intricate, talented musicians. I wish I were more shreddy than I am, but I happen to know for a fact that I don't know. I'm speaking out of class right now. People, I'm making everybody mad.
Off
somewhere,
a lot of bass players.
somewhere, Phil Dimmel is like,
"Oh,
what?
That's right. Yep.
What? E-Bass, I'm coming for you, buddy."
What's Claypool is going to be coming after you.
Well,
Geddy Lee, everybody's coming after you.
Yeah, and when but. Man, I there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing it. But my point is, I don't know. I don't know what my point is. Don't play too many notes. Don't play too many notes. The more notes you play, the more you're going to get. They lead to sexually transmitted diseases.
Just keep digging. Keep digging.
Yeah, like don't play so many notes. Like, look, if it has, if you can make it work for you, that's fine.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. I'm the guy who bought all of the Stu Ham solo records back in the day. I'm totally just full of shit right now.
All right, and there we go. Adventure Mystic presenting Ask a Question, adventuremystic.com. All right, we're going to wrap up in just a couple minutes with Eric Bass of Shinedown. We'll be back. It's the Mark and HooGie Show.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Danny Millsop. You're watching the Mark and HooGie Show. Enjoy.
Guitar gifts for you. A personalized guitar strap. They're embroidered, affordable, and professional looking for that electric, acoustic, classical, or even bass guitar player. All guitar straps sold are genuine Levy's products. And they're all fully adjustable. GuitarGiftsForYou.com. That's Guitar Gifts, the number 4, the letter U.com.
The meanest beard products in the world. HooGie here, and I gotta tell you, I've been utilizing the meanest beard product in the world for some time right now. It's helped my beard come in full, luscious, and, well, what more can I say? Save 15% using the meanest beard discount code MB15MH. Find us on the web at meanbeardco.com.
SIT Strings is celebrating 40 years. We believe that great tone starts with great strings. Manufactured in Akron, Ohio, we're a small but mighty company made up of guitar players, bass players, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, country music fans, metalheads, 80s rockers, and even the occasional jam band guy. Visit us online at sitstrings.com.
Support the Mark and HooGie Show by purchasing your very own Mark and HooGie Show merch. Shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, and even flip-flops. You know you want to walk all over them, just like their kids do. So head over to the merch page at themarkandhoogieshow.com today.
DeanBlundell.com is Canada's premier blog and podcast network. Our unique group of broadcasters, athletes, writers, and production specialists cover platforms that range from music, sports, radio and television, marketing, self-help, and even comedy. 11 podcasts, over 20 bloggers. Pure content madness. Check it out for yourself at DeanBlundell.com.
Hey, what's up? We're back. It's the Mark and HooGie Show. Visit us online, themarkandhoogieshow.com. Eric Bass of Shinedown is our special guest this week on the show. It's been good, man. I know we talked about the new album earlier on the show. HooGie's actually going to be heading to your place within the next week or two, I think, to start the recording of that, right? So what does HooGie do? When HooGie shows up, what is his job when you guys are recording albums?
Fix this. That's his job. No, you know, HooGie's he's well, let's see, on Attention Attention, he was sort of a mixture of guitar tech, amp tech, do bitch.
Like whatever.
Yeah, go just get coffee, lunch.
Keep you guys in there. Keep you guys being creative. I would just keep doing whatever, you know. Just
but you know, I've actually I think I'm gonna let him. He's gonna get a little bit of reprieve from that scope of duty on the on this next one, because I'm probably going to bring in like an intern or two, just kids that I've been communicating with about certain things, about, you know, kids who want to, you know, be involved or learn or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, there's no reason why I couldn't have, you know, them in one at a time, one day, one the next, to kind of get me coffee, you know, or whatever. Just I'm all about, I love teaching, and I love you know, parting with any amount of knowledge that I have that can help, especially young people out, man, who are wanting to get in the industry, or engineers or mixers or studio people, or anything that I can help with, man. So, so you will have a little less responsibility, but yeah, man, HooGie's such a good tech, man. He keeps having. Here's the thing. This is why HooGie's a good tech. HooGie's a good tech because HooGie gives a shit. You know,
are there a lot of techs that just don't give a shit?
I won't say a lot. There are techs though who are just there to get through the day, get through the night, get to the party. And of course we were all like that as kids. I mean, but there are definitely guys who are there for the paycheck only, and not there for the reputation or whatever. And HooGie, and I'll say that's Sparky as well, and Ricky, man, our backline guys, man, our crew is all of our crew. We wouldn't keep anybody on who was just there for
well, you guys are very much a family, right? Like,
yeah.
HooGie's told me before, like it's a family. It's like you guys are a big family. You're all very tight.
Yeah, we don't have that, and sometimes it creates complications for the band. but I always say that we always say we wouldn't have it any other way. Right. Where our crew is our family, and look, we blur the line between band and crew. I mean, it's just how it is. It's not, you don't work for us, you work with us, and and you know, we care about you. We know who your family members are. We know who your kids are. We want to know these things. And as long as you as long as you still do your job and you work hard, you're always going to be part of the family. And, it does create us basically running a traveling human resources department that gets to play shows at night. Because we do deal with, because when you do that, when you have the kind of relationship that we have with our crew, they feel comfortable bringing you their problems a lot of the time versus bringing them to a tour manager or a production manager or a stage manager. And we end up having to suss all of that stuff out. And people are like, well, how do you, we even had tour managers and production managers are like, well, don't you guys get tired of that stuff? And it's like, well, we want to know what's going on. We want to get the pulse, but we do end up, people get called to the bus, come to the band bus for a second. We got to talk to you about something, but that's part of it. That's part of having your family be out with you is you have to take care of family disputes and whatnot, but that's important, man. I love the fact that we are who we are and that we have the relationship that we have with our crew and that they feel comfortable in that way, with us. And, yes, it's maybe a business headache every once in a while because of that, but it's okay, man. It's worth it. It's worth it in the end because because at the end of the day, what that means is that every night when that show happens, that everyone is invested in it, and that's not why we do it. We don't do it for the business side of it, but it means that though. It means that everyone on that stage and everyone off in the wings and everyone at front of house and everyone all the way down to Aaron, who's our PA, who's phenomenal. Everyone cares about what's going on, and that's what you breed with that. Because believe me, we tour with a lot of bands, and we see a lot of organizations where that's not the case, where the crew is just a means to an end. And if you don't work out, I got another guy I can hire to come right in behind you, another girl to come in right behind you, and it's moving parts. And by the way, I don't disparage anyone for that because that's how they run their ship, and it's obviously successful for them. I just can't imagine having that kind of relationship. I don't ever have and no one else in our band does. We don't feel like the crew is beholden to us.
Right.
You don't. I owe HooGie just as much respect as he owes me on a daily basis, and that's how life should be, man. I think so.
Nice. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. I know, again, you guys are working on the new album. Probably not even a timeline at this point.
Nope, no time.
You're going to be out because
no timeline.
It's out when it's out.
but here's the thing, man. I won't say the songs are coming super quickly. Like we're working pretty, but they're happening really well, I think. So we will we'll see. Well, we'll see when it gets done.
We'll kind of see because HooGie's going to be there, so we're going to have to kind of broadcast the show from there, from your place. So, dude,
we're gonna
interesting.
We're gonna make HooGie. We're gonna have HooGie broadcast from the back porch by the swimming pool with the drink in his hand.
Oh.
It's
I just keep hearing about the barbecue too, and I'm like, can I come with you, HooGie?
And here's the other thing too, man. It is a frigid 83 degrees outside right now too.
Don't even.
They're talking snow here next week. They're talking snow next Wednesday.
Enjoy.
Well, so we might get a little bit of a sneak preview then, kind of a backstage look at the process of this new album, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, man. I'm totally down for that. We don't have any sort of other than having any in the music leak out.
Well,
we've got. Well, I mean, but that's kind of our rule. Is like we'll film. Anybody can film whatever they want. HooGie wants to film stuff for the dude. I mean, you just need to have you can have Brent on the show live. Here he is.
Yeah. I've told
here he is, the guy everybody wants to talk to.
Well, we're trying to set it up. We're set up so we can do a live show, literally live show, have people interacting with us, the fans asking questions live. So I think we're gonna try to do that over the next few weeks.
Yeah, man. So and here's the other thing too, man. Is like there are tons of musicians here in town too, man.
Yeah.
You guys can get actors, actresses.
See, I need to come too. I think I need to be there, HooGie. So
yeah.
You're bunking up.
Has Ben been on the show? Ben Bruce been on the show?
Ben hasn't been on the show. We had Danny.
Yeah, he and his wife are building a house 2 miles from where I'm sitting right now. So,
Nice. He's such a good dude. Ben
he
is
is, man.
such a good dude. He really is. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for taking so much time out of your day to speak with us today.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it so much. And I was I was waiting on the invitation. So I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, there you go, Eric Bass from Shinedown. Looking forward to hearing your solo album as well, and checking out your books as well.
Thank you. Yeah, man. And that stuff will be, the books will definitely be out next year. Once again, the record, I might drop the record tomorrow. I don't know. So we'll see. Everybody I'll keep everyone posted. How about that?
Maybe fans of the Mark and HooGie Show get first crack at it. We'll give you the heads up when it's going to drop.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
Right on.
Awesome. Thank you so much to Eric Bass of Shinedown. It's the Mark and HooGie Show. Take care.
The Mark and HooGie Show. Visit us online at themarkandhoogieshow.com.